Good morning, everybody. It is wonderful that you are here on this Saturday near afternoon, and you are at webinar Speak the Five Love Languages of Your Client. And I am your presenter, Rosalind Henderson. I'm also the owner of Leadership Keys Unlimited. One more time, I want to say thank you for being here. The more I interact with prospects and clients, the more I realize the importance of love languages. For example, Anthony was a wellness coach, and I was presenting to him the need for sales training, and he understood that he had gaps, but he was resisting me on doing a Saturday 5-hour sales immersion course. And he said, you know, Rosalind, honestly, I have never missed a Toastmasters meeting ever. Now, he was the person who founded this particular meeting. He says, and I just don't want to miss a meeting. I understood that Anthony's love language was service, so I talked in that language. And so I asked him, I said, Anthony, how many more members do you want to have at your meetings? He said, maybe 5 or 6 this year. If I can have them join, that would be fabulous. And I said, okay, great, fantastic. In this 3-month period, how many people have come to your meetings? How do you draw people to your meetings? And he said, well, sometimes we have our members bring guests. We've had about 5 folks that came. Okay, so it seems to me that you could build a better lead generation system. And out of those 5 or 6 people that came to visit the club, how many did you close? How many are new members? And he said, 0. And I said, Anthony, I wanted to really press on him. I want you to think about this. What if you could increase your sales skills so that you're not only building your business, that you're not only lead generating for your business, but you could also do that for your Toastmasters club. Think about this. One Saturday, it just takes one Saturday to build and learn new sales skills so you can do that. What do you say? It was as if the light bulb had finally gone on, and he realized that, geez, this is a skill that I can have forever and use it again and again to build not just my business, but also my club. So this is one example of how we can use a client's love language to close more sales. You might be asking yourself, oh, who is this Rosalind Henderson? Who's this lady? Well, you know, I was someone early on in my business who really avoided sales. My coach said that 80% of our time should be spent on money generating activity. To be very honest with you, maybe I was spending about 30% of my time doing that. Instead, you could find me polishing and repolishing Facebook posts. You could find me hiring one coach after another, or trotting off to that business conference over there. Everything but sales. And my business began to suffer because I'm not generating a regular income. And as I look back also, I had some dealings with past salespeople that left a bitter taste in my mouth. Some salespeople to me were pushy, they would pressure you, they were about the sale, they really didn't care about my needs and who wanted to be associated with that. But luckily, I got professional sales training, and I learned that there's a system, a 9-step system that I needed to master. I learned the importance of writing these little mini scripts, and that when you put them together, you would have a full body presentation that was powerful and persuasive. I worked on that. And I also worked on my mindset. Now, what was the result? The first time, ladies and gentlemen, that I used that sales system, I was able to close a $2,500 account with Chick-fil-A, then a $500 account, then a $1,000 account. And once I saw this happen, I mean, it was transformation. I was able to consistently present effective presentations. Well, from there, my training company shifted. I wanted to provide professional sales training to others so they can experience the difference that I felt. And my philosophy is that if you equally work on your sales mindset and up your skills, then you're going to develop into a sales superstar. At heart, I'm a teacher. I was a teacher for 30 years, and I love seeing people reach their potential. Now that I'm able to create this regular breakthrough and get consistent results, then I want to help business owners who are where I was. And here's the thing, if I was uncomfortable with sales and was horrible at it, and now I'm an effective sales presenter, then I can help you also. Again, welcome to the Speak the 5 Love Languages of Your Clients. Let's get started. So why you want to speak your client's love language? Well, I just gave you this great example about Anthony. I was able to close that sale because I spoke his love language, service. So you can also begin to elevate your client's experience when you speak their language. Tanya was a former coach of mine. I did a 6-week program with her, and it was a fabulous 6 weeks because she spoke my love language. Quality time and service. Once a week, we met at this posh Pasadena restaurant. We had a private room. We had excellent service, tasty food every week while we had our business meeting. She was helping me with marketing. I will forever link her business to this experience. You want to retain clients? Speak your customers' love language. Think about businesses that you're loyal to. Why are you loyal to them? Perhaps it's because they spend quality time with you. The barista at Starbucks knows your kids and knows something about your life. Or perhaps there's a business that regularly gives gifts to their clients. Or it's about the service, stellar service. There's reasons why you hang with certain businesses. So this is why we want to speak our customers' language. What are our objectives? We have 2 objectives today. Number 1 is to help you become more intentional about recognizing and speaking your client's love language. That's number 1. Number 2 is that I want you to begin to eyeball all aspects of your business, your sales, how you deliver your services, outboarding, folks, how you present webinars, all of that. I want you to put your business under a microscope and ask yourself, how can I make love languages a standard operating procedure in my business? So we're going to talk and identify the 5 love languages. We're going to learn how to identify a customer's love language and how to speak that language in your business. So first, what are the 5 love languages? Well, by the way, these love languages are taken out of the book Love Languages by Gary Chapman, who wrote a book about romantic relationships. Frankly, the information that he shares is really applicable to a parent-child relationship, friendships, business relationships, and business and client relationships. So number 1 is affirmations. People love to feel encouraged. They love to hear positive words. Number 2 is service. How can you be specifically helpful to a client? Number three is quality time. Some clients love it when you can spend meaningful time and do it frequently. Some clients, number 4, love gifts. They just get excited, come alive when they are given a gift. They feel appreciated. And number 5 is physical touch. And there's a lot of ways to do physical touch that is correct. So these are the 5 love languages. Now, before we really delve in deeply about love languages and clients, what is your preferred love language? And what I'm going to do is, let's see, let me get myself out of, very good. Let me see if I can get out of here. And what I want to do is run a little test with you. Good morning, everybody. And let's see here. I'm going to ask you, just to save a little time, what do you know about your love language after the ones that I just stated to you? Which one do you feel is your predominant love language? Sherry.
There we go. The one thing, whenever I think of what I like most, I really like if somebody sees me. And what's really weird about that, it could be expressed with a touch. It could be expressed with a gift that they just really, really knew I would get. It could be expressed with words of affirmation. It can be expressed through quality time. So I'm never quite sure which one really fits me, because for me to really be seen is my love language and accepted.
Okay, that's excellent. That's excellent.
And
And
that fall under.
Well, you know, there is a predominant love language that we have, but then we have maybe a backup one, a number 2. But it sounds to me that above all else, this is what it sounds like to me. You like quality time. So if you spend quality time with me and it involves a gift, woo! If you spend quality, if you see me and you understand me, then that's something that really gets you, it resonates with you. That's the way you like to be communicated with. So they could do that in different ways, but that's what it sounds like to me. Do you think that's on?
I think it does kind of fit on, yeah.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Hey, Evelyn, good morning.
Good morning.
So which love language do you resonate with?
The quality time, but actually, I think you said service. I feel like if I serve my actions and my intensity to do those actions with a great purpose, it is a way to get someone to see me.
Yes.
And so after that, quality time. Because now that you see me, like you said, now that you see me, we can really get into each other a little bit better and know each other. And so we can, really click.
Excellent, excellent. See, it's very important to know that. Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. Good morning. Okay, we'll come back to Elizabeth. Good morning, Kathy Bennett. How are you?
I'm sorry, my dog is barking in the background. So
no worries. Good morning. What love language is your favorite?
Well, truthfully, I am interested in hearing you explain the love languages before I select one. So I'm going to sit back and I'm going to wait until you explain them a little more thoroughly than me just take a stab at it.
Okay, that's fantastic. There goes the wonderful Leslie. Hi, Leslie. How are you?
good morning. It's so great to see you, Rosalind. I'm great. Thank you. I, you know, funny story, when I was raising my children, that book was going to our church, and I noticed something that one of my daughters had, and I realized why we were not getting along as well, which hers was quality time. And I think mine is acts of service. So I never could understand why I'm doing for you all the time. I can't do enough. And my backup one is words of affirmation. I do, I think everyone to some degree enjoys appreciation, but I've spent a lifetime since seeing some secret notes laying around. So I guess they weren't all that secret. When I realized that, I went, oh my goodness, I could probably have a much better relationship. And we do. It's the one that lives here in town. And I've certainly improved in that area.
That's wonderful. It is a tremendous, it's tremendous information as we're interacting with our children, that we speak their language, even though it may not be ours.
Right.
You're making a very good point. Laura, good morning. Did I speak to you, Laura?
No.
I don't think so. So what is your favorite love language?
I think both words of appreciation
Mm-hmm.
and quality time, because I appreciate when somebody gives me a compliment that they appreciate something I do for them, or just something about me. I appreciate that. And then quality time is always important when I'm visiting my family, because I'm in Florida and they're in California.
Wow.
And New York, so I don't get to see them all the time. So when I'm there, I really appreciate having quality time together.
Excellent, excellent. Now, this is really interesting, because I'm of the idea that for us to have the best services and the experience, the best products, that we need to sometimes speak up and ask that our love language be spoken. And it doesn't have to be woo-woo, okay? It doesn't have to be woo-woo. You can simply say something, for instance, let's say I'm hiring a coach. I could say something like, you know what, for me to learn better, sometimes I need a little extra time to really understand a concept. Now, is that available in your coaching program? It could be as simple as that. Or for instance, maybe you are looking for a house and you're talking to a realtor, and this realtor always brings you some type of gift before he shows you a house. You can simply encourage that by saying, oh my goodness, every time you give me a Starbucks coffee before we look at houses, it just it lights me up. I just love this. So, continue to do it. It could be something that is casual, but to be able to communicate to people the preferred love language is important. I was talking to an associate who was comparing and contrasting a coaching program that she had been in. 2 years ago, she's in one type of program. She's in another one now. And she was saying, oh, Rosalind, what a difference. Even though I'm in a group coaching program, this coach treats me individually, will spend time with me, gives me words of affirmation. I'm so much happier. I'm so much more excited about this program than the one I was in 2 years ago. She's having a more thorough, complete, enjoyable experience because her love language is being spoken. I'm going back to the slides, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies. So my question to you, as we continue on, is to keep this in the back of your mind. We're going to do some exercises. I want you to think about how to establish love languages in your business. You might want to do it in your sales presentations. How can I incorporate love languages as I'm generating leads? I'm attracting potential clients who are interested in my services. How can I generate the love language. When I'm setting appointments, as I build trust and rapport, as I'm connecting and allowing people to relax, how can I use love language to do that? As I am identifying customer needs, what are their pain points, and how can I use love language to extract that information? When you're sharing the benefits of your program, when you're mirroring how your program can transform a life of another, how can you use your love language? Okay. Objection handling. How can you gracefully intertwine that into your objection handling as you're closing, qualifying leads, following up? These are things to consider. When you talk about love language, the question also to keep in the back of your mind is, wow, my onboarding practices, how I deliver services, copywriting, the type of services you even offer can be based on love language. Promotions, how you present on stage. Every aspect of our business is touched by how we interact with our customer. So let's start with number one, affirmation and accolades. That's a very, very simple one. Because to be honest with you, just about everyone loves to be recognized in some way. They want to be appreciated. It doesn't take much to do to appreciate a client's thoughtful comment during a webinar, to, for instance, applaud someone's effort in a coaching program. Such things keep customers coming back. There's a lot of different ways to use affirmations and accolades in your business. Here's a few examples. You could offer a certificate of completion at the end of your course. You want to bump that up? You can make it a in-person ceremony and celebrate. Maybe you can speak up at a staff meeting and really highlight one of your colleagues who made a major contribution to a project you were working on. Maybe you want to feature a client a month in a blog. There are a lot of different ways to do that. So my question to you, let's spend a few minutes doing this, is let's come up with some ways in which you can, on purpose, incorporate affirmations more into your business. Let's talk. Coming out of this share. All right. So let's talk about that. How could you incorporate more affirmations and accolades in your business? And they can actually be practices in your business that you do regularly. Is the idea. Sherry, any ideas?
So I can probably give a little tiny bit of background of my business. I'm an employment specialist, so I have a sales thing at both ends. On one end, I deal with individuals who want employment help and services. On the other end, I deal with doing job development and getting to know business owners in the community and how they hire. So I'm really good at using accolades and affirmations with my people. I will remind them what they're doing right. If they're feeling discouraged, I will point to something they've done in the past. I can bring up their strengths, and I can do that strongly over here. I need, I think, more help generating ideas on how to do that at the other end with business owners. And that's probably because I don't get to spend a lot of quality time with them. While we're supposed to spend at least 15 to 20 minutes having an interview space, they don't always have that kind of time, nor do you have their undivided attention. So in those moments, the only way I can, do affirmations is very often saying, I can see that you're very busy, you're running a tight ship, everything looks great, yada, yada, yada. But that feels on some level trite to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking, because I definitely want to develop the relationships at both ends, because that's the best way to do my job and bring these pieces together. Then it's a challenge, but that's exactly why I'm here today. So
you might be able to go into the goal to me is to find something that acknowledges them, but you're not taking their time that they don't have time to give you. for you to really
Yes.
do a kind of verbal. So then maybe a certificate or some kind of award, something that may be tangible. That's the brainstorming on your part, Sherry.
Yeah.
That you'll need to be able to do is how can I come up with something? And then trial and error. You pick something, you see if it works, and if they are responding to that accolade or to that award.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's great. Laura, you have any ideas about how you can include more accolades in your business? I would love to see all of your wonderful faces. Leslie, I want to see yours.
Hi.
For what it's worth. Okay. And I was
Oh.
talking to Laura, but as Laura is, let's see, there she is. Hey,
I'm
Laura.
back.
Because we're going to be going in and out. I will be going through slides and then coming back doing the exercise with you. So, Laura, are there any ideas that you have about including accolades, more awards in your business?
You faded out. I don't know why. Including accolades and what?
Accolades or awards, because that's a love language. Some clients love awards. They love accolades. They love words that help recognize who they are and what they contribute. Is there some brainstorming that's going on about how you can include that in your business?
Yes, we have templates with awards when people do something like reach a new rank in the business. We can put their picture in there and it says congratulations. And also I can send them a message or talk to them on the phone or Zoom, tell them they did a great job and just recognize them and show my appreciation.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And what kind of response do you see as a result?
Well, I think people always like to be recognized and to feel like you appreciate what they do. So I think they try to work harder and do better. And
Yes.
also if they're doing well in the program, like they're losing weight or they're looking healthier or their skin and hair, to compliment them, that helps them to continue on the program and keep going.
Laura, let's backtrack for a second. What is it that you do?
Oh, I'm an anti-aging health and wellness coach. And I help people to feel and look their best as they get older to enjoy their golden years.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm 71. So I'm 71, so I like to stay as healthy as I can so I can travel and visit my family and have fun activities with my grandkids and my kids and my mom.
That's fabulous. You look fabulous too, by the way. Leslie, thank you. Tell us how you affirm your clients.
Well, with the coaching that I do, it's an ongoing. I learned something years ago that I use, which is HHH, hug, hit, hug. So in other words, always, start with, hey, and a positive. My suggestion would be this, and kind of get into the meat of whatever the matter might be, and then end with a hug, like, wow, I'm so proud of you for continuing on with this or continuing to work. So I try to remember HHH because sometimes I just want to dive into the meat. I get I'm probably more whale than shark in the scheme of things, or as Danny Johnson, I much prefer her. I'm probably more pearl than I knew and less shark than I thought, but that shark does try to come out. And so the HHH helps me remember to soft pedal my sharky stuff. And I noticed that, like with Eric, for instance, in the coaches circle, it's the same thing. There'll be a round of, hey, want to encourage you. And somebody will say, oh, this just happened. We all take the time to post a positive affirming,
Yes.
clapping, and it keeps everybody going. So I think we've learned among the coaches circle that even for us, we all like that. So how much more would, the clients like it as well? One thing that I don't do that I continue to think about doing, and I'm talking continue to think about for decades now, it's embarrassing. I think I heard about send out cards 15 years ago, and I thought, amazing idea, because it's based on that whole concept. How great. Anybody loves to be acknowledged. And I think it's important to remember, you do something great, and you girlfriend are going to get a text from me after this about how beautiful you look, how amazing your hair and your outfit, and everything is just perfect, and how your delivery is great, and that I didn't expect to be on camera today nor talking. However, what a fun way to do it, because that interaction is great. So there's a lot of accolades and affirmations I will absolutely have given you without this conversation. But that said, I think it's also good to remember that day to day, we have the ability to also reach out and say, Rosalind, I didn't know it was your birthday. I hope you feel well celebrated today. Or Rosalind, how awesome. You just got a new pet. Or, so paying more attention on social media is one of the things that I do so that I can be more interactive in a positive and affirming way with people day to day.
Leslie, I like what you mentioned about birthdays, how people love simple things like you just saying happy birthday on Facebook to them. They just get stoked. So those are all great examples. I'm going to move on because of time, but you guys are doing fabulous. That's my affirmation for you. So let me go back to my slides now. And so we generated some ideas about affirmations. And if we're establishing this practice in our business, we are really going to track and retain clients. Absolutely. Let's move on to our next one. Service. So a friend comes to you and says, Leslie, why don't you, can you tell me about an Italian restaurant that's fabulous? I want your recommendation. What are you going to base your recommendation on? You're thinking about some Italian restaurants. What you're going to recommend is going to be based on your service. How efficient were they? How was the waitress? Was she friendly? Was it fast service? Was it tasty food? Was there some ambiance? Was the staff responsive to you? You had a great experience. And when you have a great experience, that is when you give a recommendation. We could all bump up our services and our products by 10%. Maybe we can make our service a little bit more convenient. We can make it faster. Maybe we can provide more ambiance. Maybe we can go the extra mile. I was reading an article about a Pennsylvanian 89-year-old man who was stuck in a house. He was snowed in. His granddaughter, who didn't live with him, was very concerned that he had enough food. And so she started calling all these grocery stores, asking if they delivered groceries. They said no. She called Trader Joe's, and Trader Joe's said, you know what? We don't usually deliver groceries, but we're interested in helping. She gave them the list. They had those items delivered to this man's house within 30 minutes at no cost. Now, that is fabulous service. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. For example, if you quickly respond to a call from a client, call them within 30 minutes, within an hour tops. That's speedy service. Or perhaps you can give a lot more than advertise. You always want to overgive and wow the client of yours. Maybe you want to give extra coaching time. I do that. Or I provide availability in some unusual ways. I allow a prospect or client to here and there, text me once a week. So service can take on a lot of different forms, but to be able to bump that up by 10% means, again, that you stand out from the crowd. Let me talk now about quality service. Quality service is a love language that a lot of clients speak. I think oftentimes that smaller companies have a big advantage over bigger companies. Why? Because we can get closer to our clients. We can spend ample amounts of time with them, getting to know who they are and their preferences. And we do that, again, we stand heads and shoulders above other businesses. To have face-to-face interaction with our clients means that we are going to have raving fans. That's what I believe. So it's an advantage to the business owner to have that face-to-face interaction, because in this way, you're going to really understand, you're going to get a deep dive into your customers' wants and needs. They can also help you redesign some of your services, make them better, or just redesign or help you develop some new services, all because you're spending time with them and understanding what they need and want. You might want to build a community around your brand. This is important because people want special places where they can connect, not just with the facilitator, but with those around them. They learn from others around them. So what I've done in the past, for instance, is that I would have coffee chats with clients. I would spend 15, 20 minutes or more talking to them about my services and how I can be a better help to them. And they really appreciated it. Even though it was a little bit time intensive, I believe that it was worth my time. I even ask sometimes for my clients to beta test new products that I want to develop. So they might come to a new webinar, for instance, and just pay a minimal amount of money, and they give me their feedback. Boy, that is absolutely invaluable, to be able to spend time with your clients, to really get to know them like the back of your hand. And in doing so, and because our clients really do love this, you are definitely standing out from the crowd. Being mindful of time here. So I'm going to go to gifts. Talking about love languages. Talking about intentionally establishing practices in our business that speaks the client's love language. We need to communicate to them in a way that they can receive. When it comes to gifts, for instance, do you get excited when you get gifts? Do you feel this absolute gratitude? Do you feel a little closer to the giver? Well, if you feel that way, then you have clients who feel the same way. Speak this love language. This is a good way to encourage a client. It's a good way to build your business. For example, this was just a few weeks ago for me. I bought a $500 program from my mentor, and I was so excited. And I started to look at, was that MP4? I was looking at one MP4. It wouldn't download. So I went to the next one. I went to the next MP4. It wouldn't download. So I finally ended up calling his office and letting the staff know that I was having problems, but I didn't hear back from them. I was a little bit annoyed. I called back a second time, finally got a person, and I said, look, I bought this $500 course. It's not downloading. They gave me lots of apologies, and they gave me a $50 gift certificate so that I could spend on other DVDs and other things. And I did that. And I did that. In that case, they were trying to right a wrong through giving me a gift. So giving gifts, again, this is something that is a very important love language to certain clients. And so my question to you is, where in your business can you establish giving gifts? Where in your business can you establish giving gifts? And let's even generate different gifts that you can give to clients throughout their experience and interaction with you. Here I come. I'm going to start. Hey, Andrew. I'm going to start with you, Andrew.
Oh, geez. Good.
Can I see your wonderful face, Andrew?
Just a second here. How do you do this?
Okay, well, you can. Because look, let me just go ahead and reiterate the question. So in your business, love language that you can speak to your clients is gifts. Some clients it resonates when you give them a gift. In your business, do you have a practice of gift giving? Or if you don't, maybe you can brainstorm one or two ways in which you can incorporate that into your business.
Gift giving? Well,
like I give certificates, extra time.
I see.
Yes.
Well, I'm involved with a number of nonprofits. And so part of gift giving, I feel, is appreciation. And not only the words, but if it's a membership thing, then I'll give them a card to say you belong to our community. We're connected together. There's if you hold a position or an office, then I'm going to give you a nice little badge that you can wear on your lapel when you go someplace. So now you stand out and it becomes a conversation piece in the other circles that you travel in. And lastly, the other gift is I'm a cheerleader for activities that they are involved in outside of our community, our group. And I'm excited about it. And, anything I can do to help them be more successful in that. Those are the untangible gifts. And from my experience, those are the kinds of gifts that make people feel good and will remember you.
You know, what you're doing to me is that you're combining two love languages. And I like that because I do think there's an overlap. Oftentimes you're talking about giving lots of affirmation to folks and to give it in gift form. So they're wearing a badge, that affirms their position, for instance. And that is a very smart thing to do because killing two birds with one stone, you can overlap these love languages and speak to people in a myriad of ways by just sending them, handing them one way of doing something. So that's really brilliant. Rosalind Vaughn, hello. This is from my teacher days. What I would do as a teacher for 30 years is that I would call on the student whose camera was off and who I hadn't heard from. That is just in my bones. Hi, Rosalind, how are you? Okay, I'm gonna come back to her. Hi, Elizabeth, how are you? All right.
Oh, hi, I'm here.
Hi,
Sorry.
Elizabeth.
I'm well today.
Tell us about your business.
Well, I help people to grow themselves and grow their business. And usually it's coaches, entrepreneurs, and small business owners.
Oh, this is Elizabeth. Hi.
Yes, it's this Elizabeth.
Yes, nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. So my love languages are touch and quality time. So my clients certainly get quality time, not touch. And I need to think about how I can give them gifts. to show my appreciation and my caring for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
This is, by the way, this is work that I'm giving you that goes far beyond this webinar.
mhm,
Take the questions and journal them. Make it homework. Make it homework. Back
right.
to my, thank you, Liz, for sharing. Back to Leslie.
I'll make it quick. I had an instant brainstorm when you asked that question because I was thinking, but in our Infusionsoft system, I think all of your addresses are in. So Laura, you can be expecting to hear from me. Elizabeth, you're my sidekick, so it might be a little different, but I can certainly send my coaching clients, create an idea. I haven't formulated it fully in this split second, but send a $5 Starbucks gift card and an assignment of we think and grow rich. So I want you to grab a coffee and spend an hour this week thinking, and then we'll talk about what you come up with.
Wow, that is very creative. That is very creative. And that's all this takes. It takes some brainstorming, coming up with maybe a good 10 ideas. 9 of them you're going to throw out and you're going to keep the one. It's all about generating these great ideas. I love it. Evelyn, let me ask you, how can you incorporate gifts in what you do?
What I used to do, and I was in hospitality, and most of my hospitality was repeat clients that would come needing various things. But in so doing, when I knew they were coming in advance, I'd make that phone call, let them know, hey, I see you're on the docket to come in. Last time you did this, this, and this, and then whatever it was that they whatever their theme was or whatever like that, I would make sure I have a gift upon their arrival, just to let them know how much I appreciated their return and the opportunity not just to be a client of theirs, but someone that they can really trust that the job was going to be done.
Wow, that's excellent. That is excellent. Last but not least, Sherry. Hi, Sherry.
I really like the coffee card idea as much as I don't like a whole bunch of coffee cards having no purpose in life, but I wish they could make little paper certificates. That would be nice too. Yeah. And I really, really like the way you paired it with, it was Leslie, right? I like the way you paired it with, spend some time thinking. I had jotted down a few questions when we were back talking about service, because I know that I won't be the first person that's approached different employers involving, working with an employment service. So I'd like to know what worked for them, what didn't work, what did they wish would have worked? What would their ideal relationship look like? What could they gain from working with our service? And that whole coffee card thinking and those questions all together was just like, wow, I really like that. I wrote those down. Yeah, just something along those lines. Because in that moment, it's the giving of a gift with, other than the thought, no actual commitment yet. It's still all on their time. They don't have to stand in front of me. They don't have to be prepared to have that meeting with me. They can just, sit and think about it and be ready for, a brief moment when I can, walk in and we can talk for like 3, 4, 5 minutes, because the conversation is already loaded. It's already preempted and loaded.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are generating some wonderful ideas. I'm taking note off of you. Let me continue on with this, moving from sharing gifts. I do want to mention this about the importance. I feel that the more you can give a very personalized gift rather than a generic gift, the better when you can. So this is John Howard. He's owner of Chick-fil-A out here in Long Beach, California. And so I worked with his leadership team for about 3 months. At the end of those 3 months, I, thought maybe a nice idea to give John a gift. It was around Christmas time anyway. So I called his manager and I said, tell me, what kind of things do you think Don would respond to? Oh, he's all about the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys. And so I had a gift basket made up. Everything Cowboys was in it. You had the wristband, you had the hat, you had the t-shirt, you had everything Dallas Cowboy. And I came in unannounced one morning and I handed John the gift basket. He was jumping up and down like a kid in a candy store. He absolutely loved this. It spoke his language on a lot of different levels. And what's interesting, this was it was unintended, but I got more business out of just simply being thoughtful and handing him a basket that he loved. So I just want to just tuck that in there, that when you give a personalized gift, when appropriate, it's more bang for your buck. It's more bang for your buck. Absolutely. So let's go to our next love language, which is physical touch. And it need not be inappropriate when we talk about physical touch and our clients, because goodness, a warm handshake, eye contact. You can ask to put your hand on someone's shoulders, gestures, body language. All of that speaks a client's love language. I have been to networking events where I'm making the rounds, and I'm sure you have too, and you meet someone new and they're on their cell phone. They're not making eye contact with you. They seem disinterested. You feel dismissed, and it really is not connecting you and the person. So this is why physical touch is so important to so many clients. And we also need to understand this, that when we're dealing with international clients, what works in the United States may not work with someone else in a different continent. For instance, eye contact in some cultures is actually an insult. So we need to keep that in the back of our minds. So how can you include physical touch in your business? That's a tricky one, but again, let us use our imaginations here. And let me stop share. One thing I try to make sure that I do more as often as possible, what I try to do is when I do my videos, I really try to keep my eyes locked into yours. I try to steer away from notes, and I try to make sure I'm looking at you. I'll give you that feeling. I think that's very important when you're making videos. During this pandemic, I went social media. I had to find ways of touching my audience. That's one thing that I do. One way that I try to give physical touch, believe it or not, touching a heart to me is physical touch. I am trying to become a better storyteller. When you can tell a good story about your product or your origin story, whatever, you can touch a heart. So I really do extend the definition of touch. And so my question to you, Elizabeth, is how can you include more physical touch in your business? People yearn for physical touch.
Well, I love the thing that you said, Rosalind, about eye contact. That's really, really important. And it feels a little weird because when you actually look at them, they don't see that you are when you're on video, but you look at your camera and then they think that you're looking at. So it's a little bit weird.
It's the illusion. It's the illusion, yes.
Yeah. And then the other thing is I was talking about affirmations the other day to a group of people. And I was saying the importance of saying them with emotion and with feeling. And one of them was, I love myself. And I was saying, give yourself a hug, like literally give yourself a hug.
Mm, that's,
Can't quite see it all, but
well, I will do that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, and it's a little bit hard when most of the time I'm on Zoom or phone for my clients. Over the years, they've been very international from 25 plus countries. So I don't always see them in person. So it's a little bit hard. But when you do see them in person, a handshake is great. If you've seen them more than a few times and they're open to it, absolutely a big hug. So,
Good. That's good.
okay.
Andrew, any thoughts on this?
There's, from my experience, there's a little tension in the current culture. You had in New York, the governor resigned because he felt that his touching was really his way of connecting with people, and the people that received that touching were offended by it. So now in the workplace, it's very difficult to connect with people, even in your language. If there's someone that you have a relationship with, work relationship with, and you have a history of kidding with one another, and that's okay. But if a third person hears that kidding and is offended, then you're done. So now we have created an artificial environment where people really, it's difficult to really do that. I don't know what the answer is.
Andrew, can I, I have to mess with you. And I'm going to ask a deep question. Is physical touch more dangerous concept or idea for an African-American man in business?
I believe it is now. So now it's a situation where you salute.
Mhm.
I don't. I'm a touchy feely person, and I get that because that's the way my mother was.
Mhm.
So I have my mother to blame for that. So, but yeah, and I think it's challenging because unfortunately, people feel it's a threat, and it can go into a whole bunch of different areas. So
Yes, I understand.
I have to be more on my game in those situations.
But again, short of that, I think, in terms of actual physical touch, there's a different ways to touch people. I believe, like, for instance, my facial expressions. That's a way of touching someone. You got to be more figurative, I think, sometimes, and in regards to what does touch mean. Just my little input. Any ideas, Lori, on this topic about incorporating more physical touch? As you work with your clients and are you doing this primarily in person with your clients, working your business, Laura, or are you doing this more online on Zoom? How do you interface with your clients?
Well, we used to meet people in person, but now everything's Zoom or talking on the phone. So for me, it's important to listen to their story, and then from that, share my story, how I can, like you said, touch them, that so that they feel that I care and that I can help them to solve their problem. So it's mainly through, and also eye contact's important. And right now I'm not doing any in person except for events like North Miami Beach Chamber events. So there you pay attention, you talk to people, but people I know, I'll give them a hug, but that hasn't been a problem for me so far.
It hasn't. This is an interesting question that pops in my mind also when we're talking about here, Leslie's in the wellness industry. Laura, I would think that some industries kind of lends itself more to physical touch than others, other industries. And with the lack of that or inability to do that, do you think that that negatively impacts your business, Leslie?
Um,
I know your health and wellness.
no, I think Zoom and online seems to work pretty good. I mean, you can still talk to people, and like I had a conversation with someone in Mexico a couple days ago, and she's real interested in losing weight and being healthier to get her health better. So whether I'm talking to them just on the phone or on Zoom, I can still connect with them by listening to their story and then sharing my story and then giving them a solution that they feel that I will support them and that they can do it, and send them information to help them to see, yeah, this is a great idea. I want to do this. I want to get healthier.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And Leslie, what about you? Because you're health and wellness too, right?
Yes, I'm a health coach. I think from my, and probably the reason I do a lot of sales and marketing coaching for ELI is that was my extensive background before I went through school to be a certified health and life coach. And what I've learned over the many years is not everybody has that comfort zone, shall we say, with the physical touch aspect. But I loved what Andrew shared. And Andrew, I love your mother already. I taught my kids the same thing. In fact, they would be like, Mom, are those people coming over for dinner tonight? And I would say, no, I don't even know them, but you've been talking to them for an hour. So anybody within range, I fall in love with it pretty quickly. And if I don't fall in love with them, I at least give love. And the way in person I do that is I learned, don't just shake a hand, put your other, and I had to connect on my cell phone. So my cell phone, other hand is holding it, so I can't show you, but you take the hand, you start to shake and you put your other hand over it. So their hands cupped within your hands. I had somebody shake my hand that way one time, many moons ago. And I will never forget how I felt. It felt so much more sincere and heartfelt, and it meant a lot. And since then I do that, whether it's somebody I know or somebody I just meet on the street and visit for a minute, I still will do that. It could be a homeless guy downtown. And if I reach out, and you know what, COVID or no COVID, there is soap and water. So I'm not afraid to shake hands. I hug people I hardly know. But when you don't know somebody that well, it doesn't hurt to say, Andrew, would it be okay if I gave you a hug? I don't know. I just feel like giving you a hug. Now, Andrew's face, at least if he's looked open like today, he looks like he might be open to a hug. He looks like his mama might have given him a little nudge on being warm. So I wouldn't just, I mean, if he's like this the whole time I'm talking to him, I'm not going to say, I just want to hug you. But if there's any kind of warmth at all, I've offered hugs many a time. So online on Zoom, I might say, Rosalind, I have so loved your webinar. I wish we were in the same city. I would drive over and give you a hug right now, girlfriend. But would you just, like Eric says, pat yourself on the back? Would you just give yourself a hug from me? Even that is helpful.
Yes, yes. That's very good. That's
the
very
other
good.
thing I want to mention, based on what you and Andrew were talking about, was I have a situation where when I'm out and about, if any of my African-American friends are in a zone that I am in, and I have the ability, maybe it's in my work zone, and they come in, I make a big deal to not hug in private or skip the hug, but we need to set the example, for God's sake. And I mean, for God's sake, we need to set that example. We need to all be hugging and handshaking and sharing love and being outward. I had somebody that had a chip on his shoulder that actually from the reverse side said, well, you're sure free and easy, but you don't know what it's like to be me. And I said, oh, really? Let me show you my son's 2 children, which, you know how I talk about my grandchildren, right? And you said, yeah, but I don't know what that has to do with this situation because you don't know what it's, and I said, don't even say it again, because you're going to feel bad when I show you this photo of my grandchildren. I showed him a picture of, well, it's over there, but of, and they're not really my grandchildren. Obviously, I think I do have a little black in me, but I don't know where it came from. But and I had a lady, didn't even know me, a client that bought something from me one day. And she said, I just want to tell you, honey, I think you come from Black roots. And I went, thank you. I have thought that my whole life. That is so crazy. This random person in a store, never saw her again. It was so weird that she would even want to tell me that, but I digress. So I show this picture of Satya and Xavier, and I said, these are my grandchildren. So if you think I don't care about the issues you're facing, you are dead wrong. And he shifted gears. And I not only watched him shift gears that day with me, but he shifted gears with everybody in the store, softened, and it really opened up. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be bold.
Wow, I love that. I love that. All right, so let me finish up. We're going to wrap this up in the next few minutes. Thank you for your shares. They are fabulous. We have talked a little bit about physical touch and how to incorporate that into our business. And let's move on. So we're going to conclude. We talked about the 5 love languages, and we had a really robust conversation about how we can include that practically in our businesses and make it standard operating procedures. That's what I'm saying. That's how intentional I want us to be in our businesses about this. So we learned about affirmation, we learned about service, quality time, gifts, and physical touch. And now, if there are any questions that you'd like to ask or any comments that you want to make at this point, I would like to entertain them. And then I'm going to share my offer with you so that we can continue the conversation. So, are there any comments or questions that you have at this time about any of the love languages, applications, what you learned? Any epiphanies, anything that you want to share?
Yeah, I have something.
I see Evelyn says this is a great conversation that goes beyond business, but it's about life. And absolutely, life is about relationships.
Yeah, this has been great, Rosalind, and I've really enjoyed it. And it just really, I'm going to put my thinking cap on and see how I can be more connected to my clients and other people by using the different love languages and not just the one that I'm used to using. And not just the ones that I like, but the ones think, what do they want and need?
Exactly. And what has helped me is just spending time with my clients in little ways, having ongoing networking events, for instance, gives me opportunities to get to know them individually. I look for opportunities. And once you start looking for their love language and you start seeing the little telltale signs about what they love, then I try to talk in that language for 80% of the time to them when I'm talking to them individually. And that makes a big difference, because you can elevate a social service. You can give someone a social service, but when you talk in their language, it elevates the whole experience for the client. That's what's nuanced about this to me, and that's what's key about this, is that we oftentimes impose our love language, societal's love language for the most part, on people, but we fail to understand how unique everyone is. I can even tell you that it could really get nuanced because there are only certain gifts. Sometimes someone may speak the love language of gifts, but there's certain types of gifts that certain clients like. You can really get nuanced if you had the time. We don't, but if you had the time. So, anybody else?
Absolutely.
I see you thinking, Andrew.
Oh, well, absolutely. This group has really stimulated my thinking. So let me just run a couple of things by you. Number one, there is a tremendous movie called The Gift, starring James Garner. And that, I think, dovetails what you're talking about. So the question is this: what is the greatest gift? Well, the greatest gift is you. What you bring to the table for someone else, whether it be people in your family or on your job. So what I've learned is to be present. And when I'm looking at someone, I really see them. I see their humanity. And I take the time to be present in the moment. Too many of us are rushing. Well, I got to get this done. I got to accomplish this. Got to move there. Something happens when we have human interaction. And lastly, as a country boy, when we talk about connecting with other people, there's two things to remember: have a big ear and a wet eye. Thank you.
Wow, that's really powerful.
Wow.
Wow, I think people do want to be listened to. They want it to be acknowledged. I think sometimes we talk too much. I'm working on that, Andrew.
Rosalind,
But that's really, and they have empathy is what you're saying too.
Rosalind, I really appreciate Andrew for saying that, because it really, really stems from something you said earlier about the touch. Is like, you walk up to a cashier and they're on their phone, or to a car lot and the car lot attendant is on the phone, and it's like, are you here or are you not here? So when you give attentiveness to someone's just presence, you bring in power to be able to acknowledge them and them acknowledge you. And then when you reiterate what you heard, many times that just brings them like, oh, he was really listening to me. So those are the kind of touches that I really try to not only do for myself, but instill in my children, because when people shake their hands, I want them to not only just shake their hands, but look at them in their eyes to say, with that greeting, with that acceptance, with that okay. So I think that's really powerful.
It's really powerful. And as a teacher for 30 years, I saw how missing is slowly becoming more and more missing for children to have that kind of quality time where you're looking them in the eye and you're acknowledging them and you're affirming them. I saw so many students who were hungry. There's something as simple as that they were not getting it at home. They weren't getting it from Aunt Tizzy. They weren't getting it from other folks. And sometimes they would come to me for that. And you'd be surprised how you can shape behavior, how you can get even the most naughty kid to slowly start acting better when you just give them 5 minutes. Let's let them talk about what they want to talk about. When you have your full 5 minutes and give it to them, drop everything, they love you for that. And I'm saying that about children, but we are all adult children. we love that. That is so basic to human existence. Woo, boy, this was a good conversation. So I want to share my offer because we have just a few minutes left. And I had such a wonderful, fabulous time with all of you. I want to keep this going forever. However, I know that people have time constraints. My offer is really simple. I like to go deeper and talk more about incorporating love languages, but also I have a sales immersion program that I want to share with you. coming up September 18th from 9 to 2 p.m. And it's a 5-hour sales immersion course where we're talking about speaking our clients' love language, but we're also talking about building sales skills. This is for those people who want to be professionally trained in sales and who knows that they need to work on their sales mindset. This is for you. And let's be honest, in our business, we know that money isn't everything, but it opens options for us, right? Whatever your definition of wealth is, it could be $60,000, $100,000, $1 million. Whatever your definition of wealth is, this little $497 program can get you there because it's going to help you polish your sales skills. It's going to help you strengthen your mindset, and you'll be awed at how much income you can generate. It's like, to me, going to an ATM machine at will and withdrawing whatever amount that you need. And I believe that when you have sales power, you have so much more confidence. You're very persuasive at closing business. You're in control of your financial future when you're able to hone sales skills. And to me, there's nothing like the pride that you can feel when you know that you can take care of yourself financially and those who are dependent on you. So let's say, for instance, that you are involved in our course. You can find yourself making an extra $1,000, maybe even $2,000 a month extra. And if you multiply that for just a year, that's $24,000 a year extra. What can you do with $24,000 a year extra? Maybe you can invest that and make more money. Or maybe you can save for your retirement, or perhaps you can just take that money and help your child go through college. So I'm encouraging you to sign up with us for this unusual and one-of-a-kind event. We're going to talk to you about the 9 steps of stage selling. We're going to create very unique, tailor-made templates so that you can create a powerful presentation. We're going to learn a myriad of lead generation techniques. You're going to be able to deeply understand your prospects' needs and to be able to marry your service to what their needs are. We're going to learn how to eloquently dance, as my coach says, with someone who has objections. So what I would like for you to do is to consider joining us, especially if you can do that in the next 30 minutes. I'm going to drop it by $50. It's a $497 program that I'm going to give to you for $447. If you can act in 30 minutes, you'll get that discount. All you have to do is text me at 310-488-7591. It's up here on the slide here, 310-488-7591, and just say, ready to act. That's all you need to text, ready to act. If you act in 10 minutes, then I'm going to give you some time with me, a 30-minute one-on-one coaching experience with me on mindset. It could be on the love languages. We could talk about sales. Your call. It's worth $250, but I would throw that in for free if you call me within 10 minutes. So again, I would love to work with you. I'd love to work deeper with you on this. 310-488-7591. If there are any questions, here I am to entertain them with you right now. Any questions that you might have? All righty. Well, I want to thank you for spending this time with me. And I'm going to ask you to also do me a tremendous favor. And that is, and I think I see some in the chats. I'm going to ask you, if you really enjoyed this webinar, I'm going to ask you to pick your brain, number one, and to think of other associations that might enjoy me talking on the subject of business and love languages. It could be a chamber of commerce. It could be another business group that you might have in mind. If you can give me a contact, that would be absolutely fabulous. Number one. The second thing I'm going to ask you to do very quickly is, and I see I have some already, if you loved it, give me a brief testimonial, what you loved about it. How do you think it's going to change your business? And I could use that to for further marketing purposes. So if you could take a moment to do that for me, I'll give you a kiss. That's my physical, goes for my physical touch there. Love you forever. So I'll give you a few minutes to either put me in contact with someone or an organization who might enjoy this topic, or if you could write me a brief testimonial, hey, 2 to 3 sentences, that would be excellent, and I can use it for marketing purposes. Let me see what Andrew wrote. Appreciate any testimonial that you give. I'll give you a few more minutes. I want to thank you for spending your time with me this Saturday. Let me ask a question here. Is there somewhere in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, where you can save conversations? And somebody tell me where that is.
At the bottom,
Yes.
you'll see to the right, you'll see 2 icons, one a file-like icon.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So you just click that on, and that'll save it to your file in your computer.
Okay. Great, great, great. Thank you. Have a wonderful Saturday. And until next time, peace and blessings. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks, Rosalind.
Thank you.
You're awesome.